Thank you so much, Chamberlain. Well, good morning. Welcome to Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. We do business here in just about 30 minutes. Oil prices fell on Monday, dragged down by a renewed focus on market fundamentals as Israel and Iran played down the risks of an escalation of hostilities in the Middle East after Israel's apparently small strike on Iran. Let's look at the numbers right there. Stability comes with a drop in prices, a benefit to some others and detriment of others. So Brent dropped 0.77%. That's a huge drop, getting close to 1% at $86.62 a barrel. WTI down almost about the same percentage, 0.76% at $82.51 a barrel. And of course, the calm between Iran and Israel is one that has contributed to that calm that we see there. And then also on Saturday, the United States House of Representatives passed that aid package for Ukraine and Israel, containing measures that would let federal government expand sanctions against Iran and its production, even though the U.S. had said they would not interfere, but I guess this secondary interference right there. But markets shrunk off the news of the impact of measures, if passed, would depend on how they're interpreted and implemented. Senate consideration of the bill is set to begin tomorrow, Tuesday. Separately, Iran-backed Lebanese group Hezbollah on Sunday said it's downed an Israeli drone that was on a combat mission in southern Lebanon, and Israeli forces and Lebanon's armed group Hezbollah have been exchanging fire for over 6 months now in parallel to the Gaza war, fueling concerns about further escalation. And that's those are some of the major things. But I guess that has been going on for a while, so that's not really contributing to what's going on today. Well, still talking about oil, let's come to Nigeria now and see that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that's the NNPCL, and its joint venture partner in OML 85, that's First Exploration and Petroleum Development Company Limited. They've commenced oil production in a field, Madu Field, and production from that field, which is located in shallow waters offshore Bayelsa State and operated by First E&P, is expected to be at an average of 20,000 barrels a day. Shouldn't this give a bit of warm, than since we've seen a drop in our crude production? And this, according to a statement that was shared by NNPCL, is an effort to optimize production from the nation's oil and gas assets through the provision of an enabling environment for existing and prospective investors. In a statement signed by the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPCL, Mr. Olufemi Shoneye, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Mr. Mele Kyari, describes the commencement of oil production at the Madu Field as a significant milestone that will contribute to the larger goal of meeting the production required to drive revenue growth and boost the nation's economy. Mr. Kyari commends stakeholders for their support and explains that the addition of 20,000 barrels a day by an indigenous oil player signals the commitment of stakeholders to achieving economic development for Nigeria. We could remember that the final investment decision on the development of the Madu Field and the sister field Anyala was taken by NNPCL in 2018, and production from Madu Field will be processed at the JV's Abigail Joseph Floating Production Storage and Offloading Unit, which has a crude oil storage capacity of up to 800,000. And related to that, we know we're still counting down. We're celebrating the Dangote diesel. We're counting down to the petrol. I saw a lot of that on social media. Nigerians are really waiting, to see how that happens. But not so pleasant one is the rate of the Naira closed on Friday, not looking so good. Most of last week, we saw a depreciation on the Naira. For Friday, it closed at 1,609 Naira 99 kobo on NAFEM after it lost 1.38%, while for NAFEX it closed at 1,173 Naira 72 kobo, opened at 1,134 and lost more than 3%. Not a good one, but I guess we had a lot of appreciation on the Naira, so that should still give us a bit of comfort, and that's what some traders have been reacting to. A correspondent went to the trade fair to get the feeling of some traders from the informal sector about what's going on at the moment. Of course, everybody's happy that the Naira has gained compared to where we were a couple of months ago. So let's take some of those views.
I am very happy with what our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has done so far. We are happy. From 1,800 down to what it is today. And I know very soon it will hit 900, 800. And my wish is that it will come down the more so that people will not lose hope of living. One thing about business is this: many has paid for their goods. It will not be automatic. But the issue there is that it will, it's coming down. There will soon be normalcy in every sector. Thank God for what the economic team has been doing so far.
Well, there are also reactions to the reforms, and of course, I think top on the list is what we see from Dangote, which is a reduction in the price of diesel to 1,000 Naira coming from Dangote refineries. And some of those reforms and palliatives, the informal sector seems to be happy with the current action of the present administration led by President Bola Tinubu.
If they can give us 70 to 100 billion, people will know that our president is trying. But the problem of this country is when the president gives directive, those in charge to act according to the president's directive, they will not do it. And you know, president cannot be at the front and the center and be at the back. He has given the directive for Nigerians to help Nigerians because we call it a palliative. But the question now, the people in charge, can they do what the president said? I want to thank the management of Dangote. You can see what's happening in the oil sector. Yes. He has come up and said that maybe from today, that the gas diesel will go to 1,000 Naira a litre. It's a very good thing. If other people can emulate him, Nigeria will go far.
Well, both of them are executive of ASPAMDA. We know those are major contributors in the informal sector and retail, contributing to the economy of the country. Let's have a wholesome conversation on the economy. Of course, major focus will be on the Naira, seeing a depreciation in the Naira for a couple of days now. Should we be worried or not? We have joining us for this conversation Dr. Biodun Adedipe. He is the founder and chief consultant of B. Adedipe Consultant. Thank you so much, Dr. Adedipe. Good morning.
Good morning, David. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
Good to have you. So just when we were about to relax and see...
If we are going to compete internationally, then it means major entities that have the capacity to compete internationally should also have the support of the government. We saw a play out over the weekend, for example, of what the U.S. government said they are going to do to prevent China from getting stronger competitively against a particular American brand. So this is something that happens on the international scene. So for me, therefore, what the Minister of Aviation has said with respect to what do we do to ensure that domestic airlines have access to, let me call it the aviation assets, that we give them an advantage in competing internationally. That is what the competitors are doing, by the way. So if you don't do that, we need at the receiving end at the end of the day. So of course, what that means also is, if I now need to pay for a travel ticket, especially on the Lagos-London route, I find I have to pay a lot less, maybe 1/3 of what I used to pay before, until the entrance of airpeace into that arena. Which means a lot of value was being taken away from us. Remember, it's in foreign currency by those foreign airlines. That doesn't represent the value we receive in exchange. So what this entrance of airpeace has done is to bring everyone down to the exchange of value for value, as we call it. One is monetary value, the other one is intrinsic value of the service or the product that you sell. So clearly, that is also bringing some kind of, let me call it dampening of the pressure in the FX market. And it's a good one for Nigeria.
Yeah, well, we do hope that that's sustained. And as you noted, the government needs to help and back both airpeace and Dangote. And of course, other individuals and entrepreneurs that are coming in through the private sector to help boost not just the Nigerian image now, but Nigerian product. Thank you so much, Dr. Biodun Adedipe, for your time and views this morning.
It's my pleasure being with you. Thank you so very much for having me.
You too. So now let's head to the markets. The NGX is still in the red, closed in the red again last week. I think almost every day, or perhaps one positive trade at the close, at the end of the week. But I mean, by the time we look at the summary, we see that we're still in the red, lost 2.71% from the all-share index at 99,539.75. Equities cap, well, should we celebrate 56 trillion now? Since this is like a point for us, a resilient point for the markets, being at 56 trillion for a bit of some time now. And when we look at the activity, well, compared to the previous week, it was green. Volume was up. There you have it. Volume was up more than 41%. Value also, as well as deals. Deals was at 44,915. That was also more than what we had in the previous week. We look at the sectors. We saw a lot of profit taking, heavy profit taking. I think investors here now are moving to the fixed income market. I mean, I think rates in the fixed income market last week went up to about 26%. So who wants to miss out on that? So banking dropped 0.99%. Consumer goods was positive. Industrial goods, obviously in the red, more than 3% for the week. Insurance, positive. Oil and gas finally found its voice and made some positive movement last week and was up 5.20. Now let's talk to Peter Abe now. Peter Abe is a trader with IBTC Stockbrokers to tell us what's going on behind the scene. Hi, Peter. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, Peter. So it seems like the market numbers these days tell us that investors, I mean, everybody's only loyal to their profits and nobody's loyal to any market, because it seems the stream is going from the NGX to the fixed income space as the yields increase.
Yeah, you are quite right. Good thing is that we are seeing some investors coming into the equity market, so they are not taking everything out to the fixed income alone. So I mean, except for some few names, especially in the banks where we saw some profit taking or some sell-off on the back of the capitalization news. But outside that, some consumer names, even after the end of closing last week, we still saw few interest in the banks.
So I noticed that the oil and gas had movement, but for a while we see it unchanged. So I was calculating that with Dangote, you know, now supplying to local retailers and all of that, that would have an effect on the oil and gas stocks.
Well, if you're going to look at the oil and gas names listed on the Nigerian exchange, we have the downstream, those are the marketing, and then we have the upstream, those are the one producing the crude oil. So if they are going to, I mean, impact on oil and gas is going to come from those doing the marketing. So in the likes of ethanol oil, MRS, corn oil. So those are the ones we are going to be seeing gains from. And I think we started seeing that. I think ethanol gained last week and a couple of other oil and gas as well.
So for this week now, okay, but first let me ask about insurance. We saw positive movement there at the close of trade last week. But, I mean, a lot of times it seems overlooked. And then what can we do to bring attention to this insurance? I guess the insurance companies themselves would have to do something about winning the trust of Nigerians to patronize them, and that could, you know, move value to the stocks.
You're quite right. I think the way Nigeria is, well, we believe in some other insurance outside the conventional one, which I think the insurance companies also have to come in here to let them know that it's a win-win situation for everybody. Nobody prays for loss, but it's the reality of life, and we have to get insurance. So insurance companies have to do it, as well as every religious bodies, governments, everybody have to ensure that we come in to help people see the benefits of insurance. A cover is not, nobody prays for it, but that's the reality.
Yeah, we pray, but life happens, and I guess the insurance company themselves, they have to, go out there to win the trust. But what are the expectations this week? Last week we had a lot of penny stocks, topping gainers and all of that. What do you see happening this week?
Well, the visual will still continue, and don't forget we'll start seeing the Q1 numbers for 2024. Unilever released their own, and we expect more. I think the deadline is still next week, the end of April. They have 1 month after the quarter end. So I think those numbers will also help to push activities in the market. So we expect improved activities in the market overall.
But do we still see investors reacting to numbers, results? We saw Transcorp, they did release their first quarter. I mean, did we see investors react to that?
Well, I quite agree with you. Don't forget we have more issues outside the numbers. You mentioned the fixed income giving a higher yield. So, I mean, it's a concern. I mean, whoever is looking at the numbers, we also look at much more in terms of their pockets, how they're going to gain looking at other markets. So, investors are still looking at numbers, but like I said, so many other factors have to be considered while you are looking at these numbers, and they will help you to shape your decision.
So recapitalization is still, I mean, the story has not even started. But I know the CBN gave banks till the end of April. April is ending in a couple of days. Do you see them revealing their plans, for the recapitalization? Do that affecting the market, perhaps investors taking position ahead of the approach?
Well, I think it's just a normal thing, being a corporate, to review what they are looking at. We have seen a couple of them already telling the markets the direction they are going. So I think some other banks released how much they are going to release, and by the means they are also going to raise all those funds. So I think it's just a normal thing as a corporate for the market to know how they're going to raise their funds. Well, like a typical investor, the banks at the moment are really at their low level, if you ask me, compared to how we started or how they have traded. So it would be a good point for everyone to come in at this point.
All right, Peter, thank you so much. Peter Abe is a trader with Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers. Thank you so much for your views this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it. Perhaps you want to keep your ears really close to the ground to see those plans from the banks and know if there's anyone that you want to be interested in. Or perhaps you just want to follow the yields and head to the fixed income market. The good thing is, Peter had said, the liquidity is still within our economy. So that's the most important thing. But that's it for Business Morning. 1 p.m. Ladi Williams will be here to give you a 55-minute journey around the world of business. For now, let's head back to the Sunrise Daily Studios. Back to you guys.